must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Good morning, viewers. Welcome to Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting from the Political Command Center of Punchline Africa Television, miles away from Nairobi, the Republic of Kenya. Good morning. Good morning, all of you on the panel. Good morning, Miriam, in the headquarters of Punchline Africa Television in Nairobi.
A very good morning to you,
Doctor.
Good
morning.
And a good morning to our panelists and good morning to our viewers.
Thank you very much. This is an open lecture on the private, local, international media. How the media, locally, private-owned media, and internationally owned media have distorted facts about Zimbabwe. Today, we have on the panel in this show diplomatic leaks. Every week we have diplomatic leaks. We choose country from country, but because the matter touches international agencies, we put it under diplomatic leaks in conjunction with other agencies that are broadcasting this satellite right now. The rules are very clear. If you have a point that is paining you, don't wait for me to call you. Raise your hand, I will see you. We shall give you space. Don't labor too much on points. Hit your points home. All of you, especially the people of Zimbabwe, we are here to listen to your story. The international community is here to listen to the story. The international community is here to take. The people of Kenya would like to have your experience of what is going on down there. We hear too many stories, some of them fabricated. What exactly is going on? But we see plenty of the media, private, online, printing, publishing from Zimbabwe without any restrictions. But when you go to London or Washington, or Brussels, or Paris, you see a different version of a Zimbabwe, which is being told. Are we telling a fake story? Is the opposition in Africa telling a fake story to the Western media? Is the narrative to injure Africa? Are we, the people, to change the narrative? The government of President Emerson Mnangagwa has done its best, has tried to recover, to bring Zimbabwe back to the situation where Zimbabwe was once the beacon of hope. Over 20 years of sanctions, this country has been eliminated, destroyed by sanctions that have come as a result of pressure and the distribution of land. The questions, therefore, do Western media understand Zimbabwe? Do Western media understand the culture, the norms of the people of Zimbabwe? Are we at a loss? Are we in a situation where we are being condemned without giving our evidence? Has the Western media made Zimbabwe's situation worse? If the answers to that are yes, then we shall be discussing on the right channel. Because for me, I've stood for Zimbabwe since 1997. I've done my best for Zimbabwe. I've stood out where the people of Zimbabwe could not go. I've gone in Europe, in conferences, trying to plead with the international community to remove sanctions. We successfully got the sanctions from the European Union removed, but America stuck, and up to now increases more and more sanctions. We therefore want to ask our brothers in Zimbabwe and the sisters that you tell us the story. We have given you the platform. The platform is here to put facts to the entire system. Over to you, Miriam. Read us the topic and ask the participants to introduce themselves. Thank you. I'm Dr. David Matsanga. I'm the host of this show, and I'll call in Miriam to read out the riot act of this show, and therefore give you time to discuss. Thank you.
All right, very well, Doctor. Thank you there for that introduction. Our topic of today is foreign, private, and social media's role in Zimbabwe. Is it a curse or a blessing? And with us today is, she's becoming familiar here, Abigail Mopambi. Could you start for us?
Thank you so very much. My name is Abigail Mopambi. I'm a civic society leader from Zimbabwe and also a human rights defender from Zimbabwe.
All right, very well, thank you there. And also we have Motion Martin Mai. I don't know if I've said that name right, but Motion, good morning. Motion, can you hear us? All right, I think Motion there is trying to fix his signal there. We also have Saxon, if I'm not very wrong. Saxon, good morning.
Unmute. Good morning, viewers. My name is Saxon Jina. I focus more on international relations and military security and based in Zimbabwe. Thank you.
All right, very well. And then we do have Father Alex. All right. And there's another person, his Zoom ID is HRM, I think.
That is Saxon.
Oh, that is Saxon. From my end, I'm not able to see the whole screen, but there you go. And I don't know who else we have there on Doctor. You're able to see them. Who else is there to introduce themselves before we get to our Nairobi correspondence?
I am Wenceslaus Mangadza. Mm-hmm. I am from Zimbabwe, a proud Zimbabwean and a patriotic citizen who is there to defend Zimbabwe as it is and make sure that Zimbabwe is put in the right trajectory. And then positive news has got to be aired so that at least people in the whole world have to understand the truth about Zimbabwe, not the negative picture which is being portrayed by the foreign media.
All right. Very well.
Hey.
Yes.
We have, can I take over from here, Miriam?
Go ahead.
We have Karanja from Nanyuki in Nairobi. Karanja,
good morning.
your microphone.
Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Good morning. Yeah, I'm Karanja, correspondent of Legacy Trend from Nanyuki, mass communication journalist, and a political commentator and a strategist. We focus on what matters, what is trending in whole of Africa, and we are voice to the voiceless as the media. Yeah, thank you.
Down in the coast of Nairobi, of Kenya, in Malindi, is Karen Joseph. In Kenya, on the Indian Ocean coast. She is not with us. She's not in Nairobi, but down in the coast, the White Sands, of the Indian Ocean. Karen Joseph, go ahead.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Matsanga and the rest of our panelists. This is Karen Josephs, a correspondent of Legacy Trend from the coast, Malindi.
Thank you very much. Next is none other than Daniel Sean Wesonga, our investigative journalist. We call him Mr. Colombo. Right in the other corner, Daniel Wesonga.
Very good morning, Dr. Matsanga David Miriam.
Go on, talk louder. We can't hear you.
We're having a problem with his signal, I think, with his internet signal.
Good morning, Dr. Matsanga David, Miriam Ogutu, and our comrades from Zimbabwe. I'm Sean Wesonga, an investigative journalist with Punchline Africa.
Thank you very much. Back to you. Next is Professor Jared Onyari, a professor chaplain of the church, a professor in conflict resolution, expert, the same field like my field. Professor Jared Onyari, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Matsanga, my fellow panelists, and our viewers from the rest of the world.
Thank you very much. I think all of us are ready to start. And we shall start from the guests. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Matsanga. This topic is very important to put the record straight so that the world should be able to understand what is really taking place on the ground in Zimbabwe. Because there are lots of misconceptions which are being peddled by the foreign media, private media, as well as on social media circles. They label Zimbabwe as if it is an inhabitable country. They label Zimbabwe as if on a day-to-day basis, people are being abducted for ulterior motives, which is absolutely hogwash, which is absolutely untrue. The truth or the crux of the matter is that there are individuals who are paid by foreign agencies to try or to force abduct themselves so that at least the image of Zimbabwe is dented as if it does not allow or there is no democracy at all in Zimbabwe, which is not true, because we find out that there are many people who at the moment we've got those 3 ladies who claim that to have been abducted. Investigations were carried out, and then the truth came out that none of them was even abducted and was never anywhere near any form of abduction. But for them to please their foreign funders, they had to create a story by themselves so that at least the world will take Zimbabwe on a negative picture or give Zimbabwe a negative picture as if it is a country which does not allow different voices from airing their views, which is absolutely not true. We have got a cunning opposition which is backed by the West so that at least it brings that change, not that change which is the best for Zimbabweans, but which is the best for their foreign funders, so that they will be able to use those guys to fulfill their wishes, not the wishes of the people of Zimbabwe. We also find out that false stories are being peddled. The reason why those false stories are being peddled is to create to create an anarchy amongst the people. Because the moment people hear that so-and-so has been abducted and then the other has been abducted, the next thing that they feel that Zimbabwe is inhabitable. It's not a place where people can come and visit. It's not a place where people can come and invest. But the truth, come visit Zimbabwe and see how hospitable the and discuss any issues or any bone of contentions which might be affecting them as citizens and the direction in which they wish to see the country. Unfortunately, there might be an organization, probably one, which feels that it is greater than other politicians and feels wants to be consulted on its own as if it is peculiar to other political outfits. By so doing, it now tries to use ulterior methods so that at least it creates a situation whereby Zimbabwe will be taken in a negative mode, especially the Chamisa-led outfit. It uses foreign media. It uses social media. It uses private media, which is privately owned. The reason why that private media is being used is that it has got foreign sponsors who have got an ulterior motive, who have got an agenda which they want to succeed. So by peddling falsehoods, by creating a situation which is unreal of what Zimbabwe is like, that is what they do. So that the world will see the Zimbabwe, which is not the real Zimbabwe, which people are enjoying. I am in Zimbabwe. I enjoy it. I never feel like going anywhere the way I enjoy my Zimbabwe. And then the way President Mnangagwa, he has made those tremendous changes. None is mentioning those changes except talking about the negatives which are also untrue. Unfortunately, the foreign media or the foreign place is so gullible to negatives which are peddled by some of the private media or what is posted on social media. Social media is now being used by those who just have a negative or the opposition, so that at least they create an artificial environment which is not real. To tell the truth, Zimbabwe has changed. To tell the truth, Zimbabwe is where it is now because of President Emerson Mnangagwa. He has made tremendous changes. Those changes which are conducive even for investment, for any other activity which a foreigner or anyone would like to come and do. And then that is it. We might hear the story of this other farmer who might claim that he was evicted. The truth is that the matter had been before the courts. And so, which means in the courts, the farmer lost the case. And so the rightful owner was just coming on the farm to get on the farm because he had all the papers. And now they try to, the foreign press is creating a situation as if Zimbabwe is taking over farms from the whites. That we are already past. The land reform program is irreversible, as President Mnangagwa said, and so should never be used as a way to say that there is, or to preach negativity about Zimbabwe. We are, and we have done the land program, and we are done, and we are with it. All these other things which are being said are just trying to hoodwink the gullible public so that at least they have a negative picture of Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much. You have made our work very easy. I want to thank you so much for the background opening remarks. Very good. You went further to bring out the positions. One of the positions that he has brought out is a bad and poor opposition that peddles along with the foreign media, tells the foreign media wrong information in order to heap a blame on the people of Zimbabwe. That point was made very clear. Second point that you made, Zimbabwe is peaceful. I can also attest to that Zimbabwe people are very peaceful people. They do abide by the laws. They do abide by traffic lights, which we in East Africa don't abide. All of us on this panel who have cars, we don't. We should not tell you a lie. We tell the truth. Here, in a red light, we pass. Yes, and we even destroy people's cars on a zebra crossing, which is respected in Zimbabwe. Whether at night, whether you are alone on the road and there is a red light, Zimbabweans keep that type of spirit of morals, the morality. People have morals. Even at night, 2 a.m., they still wait at the traffic lights until it gives you green. I want to tell you frankly, we in East Africa, in Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, if you stop at the traffic light and at the zebra crossing, you might be foolish. In fact, people will come out of their cars and slap you. So we have that problem here. I concur with the gentleman on that point. On the point of President Mnangagwa stabilizing Zimbabwe, I concur. I've been there several times and I've seen what has taken place in that country. And I invite more white, organized, white, black, yellow, green, purple, human beings all over the whole world. You know, we don't know how many, whether there are other purple people or what, let them go and visit Zimbabwe. Victoria Falls is open. Carry your money and go and enjoy. Look at the scenery. Zimbabwe is out for business. It needs the business, not the black spot. The human rights abuses in America, who documents them? Who has documented the human rights abuses? We have people in America being killed. You can't walk out to the ghetto, down the street, go to Russia. You can't stay on the Russian line at night if you're a black man. You might not come out of Moscow. I've been to Moscow myself several times, but we are told that by 7 o'clock, we must walk in a group of big, well-fitted guys in order to repulse America itself. So here we are. He's thrown the net wide. Let's discuss as Africans. Let's find a solution. Let's put an image. Let's see what we can do. Abigail, to balance man, woman, let's now come to gender equality, which you might kill us if we go on speaking alone. Abigail, give us the narrative. While the studio can play the clip that Abigail sent us of those ladies who forgot that going to pick chicken from the chicken inn, there was a CCTV. There's no journalist in Britain who has asked. In Britain itself, every corner now you go, there is CCTV. Even I had to complain to remove one outside my house. Because they specifically came and planted. In fact, instead of building it where the other white people were, they brought it near me, as if I'm the only one to be looked at. Entering my house, in my compound. Honestly, they built it there specifically. You could see the inconvenience. This is the gate of my house. And here, if I wanted to expand for cars to go in, I cannot. They have planted a CCTV looking at me. That's the type of life. So you cannot steal anywhere. These women wanted to steal a show, but the show stole them. Abigail, tell us the story.
Thank you so very much. The most interesting thing about media, sometimes in technology, it has its own advantages and its own disadvantages, particularly when the media has been hijacked or has been used, like what the foreign media has been doing against particularly Zimbabwe. But here is the good thing around technology. We have been hounded as the country through the fake and popular abduction stories. But here comes technology. You can't beat the facts around the CCTVs. I think just a week ago, we were struggling to explain to the world how fakish these abductions are from Zimbabwe. But I was thinking that Dr. Masanga today, you would give the world an opportunity to review and play the videos are probably able to tell the nation about the real situation here in Zimbabwe. The war stories are a drama. Yes, like any other country, like any other community, Zimbabwe has its own problems, but the situation, how it has been reported, there is a lot of artificial things that have been added, salt has been added, and sugar sometimes to suit the interest of those who have got an agenda against Zimbabwe. For record, media does not have a role to manufacture stories. But here we have noticed that for long now, close to 2 years, after what I've always said, the hijack of the civic and the political struggle by the Western forces. We have seen media in particular, we have seen media manufacturing, branding and packaging lies against the nation of Zimbabwe. But this whole thing, understand me, is a well-full package, well-coordinated. There are actors involved. There's media personnel involved. There are doctors involved to certify some of these reports. So it's a well-coordinated war against the country. The idea behind does not even, for all information, benefit more of these players. They are part of victims in the game, whilst they are perpetrators on the other side. I say that again and again, because theirs is to receive some peanuts on the table, but they are not realizing whether they are realizing the value of how much they are selling out a country. So I think Zimbabwe is under siege. Africa is under siege. There is a war, information war. These people, they understand the power of information. The attitudes of the people, the behaviors of the people are controlled by what they hear every day. And these intruders have managed to calculate very well and understand how to capture the minds and the emotions of the people of Zimbabwe. So we have people, a few of them who understand exactly why they are doing this, but we have the rest of the people who have fallen prey to this system. So it's a game of controlling emotions, so that Zimbabweans are used unknowingly to destroy their very own country. Yes, we have got international media leading this, but on social media, we now have people that have been captured also. They are now being led, some by emotions, because of the agenda that has already been set for them to fight their own leaders, to fight sister against sister, to fight brother against brother. There is no evidence there that will be tabled. Zimbabwe is being painted black. For record, I've traveled across the world. Believe me, Zimbabwe is one of the best countries. Zimbabwe has got its own underpinning values that are competitively the best across the world. But believe me, the war here is being taken to be a war of words, a war of information, capturing the emotions of those who are viewing Zimbabwe, capturing the emotions even of the Zimbabweans themselves, the general populace. They are now living under panic. There are these situations that are created right across their minds, particularly even the youth. But how many countries have got entitlement to their land? If I may ask, just recently I saw South Africa. People were very happy, particularly even from the opposition, saying South Africa is coming to lecture Zimbabwe on the way forward. They've been actually store of Brazilians around it. But believe me, yes, we may need South Africa to come in, but Zimbabwean solutions are derived here. We are even ahead of South Africa in terms of owning our own land. South Africans, as we speak right now, they are running around trying to pay rent for their own land in their own country. So if anything, we must realize that we are far ahead of South Africa, one way or the other. We have our own competitive advantages. So we have every reason to appreciate who we are as Zimbabweans, and of course begin to work on saying, how can we convert our opportunities into our strength and overcome the weaknesses that we might also have as a country. Not to begin to celebrate weaknesses, package them together with lies, and try to brand and sell to the West. It's one of the last things we should think of as Zimbabweans, and in particular as Africans. So I think we need to identify ourselves with our pride and national vision as Zimbabweans. The game is up there in the minds. We have been captured in the minds. So I think we need to do more in capturing ourselves and capturing our people and begin to appreciate who we are as Zimbabweans.
All right. Thank you there, Abigail.
Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you very much, Abigail. You have actually hit several points. I picked many of them. Thank you for giving us that background, especially the question of South Africa trying to police Zimbabwe. A nation cannot be policed by another nation which is on the same level. I have not ever, and I will never like this policy of a one nation under the UN Charter, which is the same as another one, not status of international relations, to police another nation. South Africa has no moral obligation whatsoever to police Zimbabwe. It is sad that South Africa itself has got 1,996 NGOs surrounding the government of Ramaphosa, funding all activities, including the courts. Zimbabwe has no funders funding their courts. South African courts are funded by George Soros. There are NGOs in South Africa that are openly funded by Mr. George Soros. For example, the South African Litigation Council. You know it, Abigail. You know that one which chooses African heads of state. So South Africa has no moral obligation whatsoever to lecture to people of Zimbabwe whose judiciary is not funded by anybody else, but funded by the people of Zimbabwe themselves. I find no moral obligation for Ramaphosa to send a delegation to police the people of Zimbabwe. It is showing a sign that there is a problem. Yet there is no problem. The problem has been caused by the same malcontents of Jeffrey Smith, George Soros. These are the people who are causing problems in South Africa, in Zimbabwe. Plus another country called Qatar, which is coming through Mozambique in the Beira Triangle, where they have taken over the Beira Triangle for looking for oil and fuel and gas. The aim is to attack Zimbabwe. The aim is to attack Zimbabwe. And then the people of Zimbabwe and the government of Zimbabwe listen to my lips, watch their lips, the way they move. There's a trouble coming through the Indian Ocean. If you don't stop those terrorists who have captured northern Mozambique, Zimbabwe will be attacked through Mutare Peninsula. I'm telling you today, any international student of international relations who has studied, who is a member of International Institute of Strategic Studies like I am, I will understand what is going on. Qatar has joined, France has joined, they have dismembered Mozambique. But the purpose is not Mozambique. The purpose is to reach you. The purpose is to remove revolutionary parties from Africa. ANC is not spared either. If you look at Malema, where does Malema get his payment? He has no factory. He has no farms. How can you sustain a party that opposes the entire ANC without money coming from the white supremacists? Malema is paid by George Soros to disable ANC and equally to disable ZANU-PF. If you look at all revolutionary parties across Africa, MPLA, Frelimo, they are under siege. Imperialism has crept in, has come in now to remove the revolutionary parties because some people have not forgiven you. You forgave them, but they have not forgiven you. President Mugabe, the late, was the first man who did a handshake of reconciliation. People think it is Mandela. It is not Mandela who was the first man to reconcile with a white person. It was Robert Mugabe in 1980. Where was Zimbabwe, South Africa in 1980? Mugabe shook hands with Ian Smith, the butcher of Salisbury. He shook hands with him, reconciled with Ian Smith. That is the first gesture of reconciliation in Africa. There is no other person who has ever reconciled with a killer. Even today, you can't bring Hitler to reconcile with Jews. If they meet on a train at night, I don't think they can reach the destination. But Mugabe did that. And we must get these facts coming out. The younger generation, especially you people in Zimbabwe, you must get this coming out. You must tell your story of the people of Zimbabwe. Help your president, your government to tell the story. You should not keep quiet and sit down and say, oh, MDC, don't mourn. Don't read the books of lamentation. Don't go to the Bible to lament. Don't pick the Bible, lament until when? Time has come, especially the elderly, the younger generation must see you not lamenting about sanctions. Let's also beat sanctions. We are not going to beg them to remove sanctions. How long shall we beg? We must break the sanctions. Iran is breaking the sanctions, surviving. North Korea are not eating snakes only. They are eating rice. Time has come for you people to think. I'm just tickling your minds so that you can tell your story. The media, foreign or capital injected from foreign country is fake. The question was very clear, Professor. As I come to you, I want to finish the entire story of Zimbabwe. From this side, I want section. As you look at that clip that was given to us, cue it, let it come in by our sources. I want to say to put in trouble to somebody who sent the clip, but the sources gave us the clip. The sources themselves know the clip. And that is all how we do our things, so that next time people don't point the fingers at anybody. Yes, we have done our best. They are Zimbabweans themselves trying to fake a killing in order to earn a few dollars from the American embassy. Can somebody explain to me why American embassy has the biggest compound in Africa in Harare? What do they carry in that compound? What activities do they do? Does it shock you as an African that Patrice Lumumba today, just last week on Saturday, they finally gave us the body of Patrice Lumumba, who was brutally murdered in cold blood. And his body was taken to Brussels. How do you feel as an African on this panel? What about the relatives of Patrice Lumumba, who have never seen the grave since 1961? They were given the body, the remains, the bones on Saturday. How do you feel to be called to go and carry your father, your brother, your mother, your sister from Brussels Museum, when Africa has been crying for the body of Patrice Lumumba so that Congo can keep quiet from killings? Have you discovered why Congo keeps on killing each other? The body of Patrice Lumumba was not buried properly. In African divinity, Professor Onyani is here. If you don't bury the African properly, he will come to disturb you. That's why we do funeral rites. That's why we take the cows to the water to drink. That's why we smear mud. That's That's why we take 40 days. Patrice Lumumba was never buried. His body was never seen until last Saturday. Until last Saturday. And that is where we are. That is how we have been. And that is exactly the way we have lived. We Africans, we must defend Zimbabwe. We must work for Zimbabwe. We must look at Zimbabwe as a nation, part and a parcel of us. Never should we let it to go down, to be killed. The media is fake. Therefore, I call upon Saxon to summarize, then we come to see the Kenyan side. How does the media in Kenya also relate to Zimbabwe? Because the Zimbabweans have told us their situation. Are the media also in Kenya becoming fake? Every morning, you are not alone. We also have NGOs in Kenya. That's why these programs are exchanging ideas on Africa, on how best we can. We still have more time. Let's hear from Saxon. Yeah. Saxon. Comrade Saxon. We can't hear you.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes.
Yes.
Zimbabwe started having media challenges since the onset of the reform. Since 2000, there's the negative reporting from the BBC, CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, SABC. This is a plan by the West to demonize the nation. They know that sectors like tourism, which are perception-based, will suffer because of negative publicity. After when the former information minister banned the foreign media, they started creating private media, which are so-called independent, which are not really independent. They are not they are doing the bidding for the Western countries. These independent media started churning out lies day in, day out, all the lines about Zimbabwe, which are the print is negative. They don't even comment anything positive. Right now, they've been developing the new parliament, the restoration of power with the power challenges. None of the papers comment positively about the development. They create negative stories. 2 Saturdays ago, we had a shooting where terrorists killed soldiers. One of the online publications said the war is started in Zimbabwe just because of 2 terrorists. 24 hours later, these 2 terrorists were gunned down. We had a spokesperson of an opposite party saying they should have arrested. How can you arrest someone with 2 fully loaded armed magazines who started shooting at the security forces? You can tell there's a connivance between the media and the NGOs. Once the NGOs report about something, create a fictitious story, the
So we bring in Professor as we look at the topic of the day today, what is happening there in Zimbabwe. We've seen foreign, private and social media a role in Zimbabwe. From your own standpoint, is it a curse or a blessing?
Thank you, Miriam, for that good question and for what our comrades from Zimbabwe have said. I have given this analogy and I keep on repeating because I use it so that people come to get what we are discussing about. We are Pan-Africanists. And the time has come for us to come together and say that the sanctions against the people of Zimbabwe should be lifted. But it reminds me about this young boy, this grandchild, who was testing the wisdom of his grandfather. He took a butterfly, put it in their hand, and then asked Grandpa, Grandpa, is what I have in my hand, is it dead or is alive? The grandpa looked at the grandchild and said, yes, what you have in your hand, it is you who knows whether it is alive or dead. My fellow comrades from Zimbabwe, it is you who knows what is being said about Zimbabwe is true or right. It is you to tell us, to tell the world, and this is the time that the untruth, the falsehood being made out against Zimbabwe is not right. You know, the media says the agenda. And don't expect my brother, my comrades, don't expect people who came to Africa. They colonized us, they took us as slaves, they used us as cheap labor, took all our wealth from Africa, and even the independence of the African people was given reluctantly. Independence came and immediately we started seeing coups, leaders being overthrown. Dr. Masanga said from 1961 up to now is when we are getting the remains of Patrick Lumumba. What am I trying to say? The Western media will never report anything good about Africa. And this is where the NGOs and the African fools, they find themselves that they are reporting things about their countries. So Abigail and the comrades from Zimbabwe, I'm very happy that now you are trying to tell the world that is not the situation. Zimbabwe's problems will be solved by the people of Zimbabwe. Appeal to Chamisa to come to the negotiating table and engage President Emerson. Conflict will always be there. They will be there. We have conflict in our offices, our homes, wherever we are. The worst we can do is to allow those conflicts escalate into a point of people saying that we have been kidnapped, we have been abducted, when it is not the case. So, Miriam, you are asking me, is it a curse or a blessing? Any person who reports anything negative about Africa, it will be a curse. And those who will say the true things about Africa is a blessing. With what our comrades from Zimbabwe have told us, through this engagement, you can see what the NGO has been doing. Those are the curses of their countries. And if you insult your country, time for reckoning will come. Those people, the way they perceive you, they perceive Africa, don't think the money they will give you, they will be there for some time. So what I want to say that, thank you for pointing in Africa, because we are discussing issues with the continent of Africa.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I'm appealing to my...
Go ahead. Finish your
Go
thought,
on.
Professor.
I've submitted my case that the problems for Africa must be solved with the African people. The people of Zimbabwe, come forward. You have got comrades in the rest from the rest of Africa. Say your case. Say the situation about case. They're the people of South Africa who we reparated just the other day. It's not even more than 30 years ago. And they see the rights of Malema, what they are trying to say, going to the West, getting money from George Soros, and then come to destabilize Africa. African, this is the time for us to unite and rise, and Africa is rising, and Africa will rise. The time for us to continue organizing must stop and start organizing about Africa. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miriam. I'm here. We have a guest from Kenya. She is a veteran journalist for a long time herself. Faith Mudhoni, can you make your few remarks and give us guidelines as to how media in Africa and how you see media of Zimbabwe? Is it a curse or a blessing? They tell us stories of fake stories, faking abductions. They forgot that there were CCTV cameras. Can you now narrate to us how the media in Kenya, how do they behave? How are they relating? Look at the Zimbabwe scenario. Do we have some cases of that nature here? Thank you, Faith.
Thank you so much, Dr. Matsanga. Yes. And I greet all the participants.
Thank you very much.
I'm very honored and glad to be here. David is a good friend of mine for many years. We have worked closely with him, and we value him. And he articulates the issues of media very well, both political and other areas. Now, I've listened to you all discussing about the media, both locally and internationally. Now, let me discuss about the media in Kenya. Now, we have a very big challenge. You guys, you have talked about the fake news. Here, we don't only talk about the fake news. They also focus on issues that, we talk of a brown envelope. So as long as they are paid, to please their masters, that is what is happening here. And the more they are paid, they are using the brown envelope, the more they are banning this country. So, and that is exactly what is happening in Zimbabwe. So, the late President Mugabe actually did a lot for his country. People liked him, others hated him. But the fact remains that great man did a lot for his country. But now, as you can see, the country is burning. And that's where we are heading to when it comes to Kenya. Look at year 2007, 2008. Some media people focus on a certain group. They used to highlight more of ethnicity, when it comes to the tribe. They focus on one tribe. They focus on opposition instead of trying to make sure they don't highlight the hatred and incitement words. For them, they used to post, they used to publish, they used to air, and that's the reason why our country, Kenya, went into dogs. And that's the reason why all the people were killed, and that's where we are heading to. As you look what is happening in this country now, come 2022, we fear that it might end up the same way it happened in year 2007. So, and I agree with Dr. Matsanga when he mentioned about, we need to focus, even we have this thing of media ethics. Do we have the media ethics? No. Some people, they pretend to be original journalists, but I doubt whether they went for training. For their training is, for us, we call it the black markets, where we go and exchange dollars in black market. So to me, I think some of the journalists here, they focus on the black markets only because of the names of getting the brown envelope. And if they are not careful, they are going to burn our country. The same thing is happening in our other country. So I want to say, and to finish by writing and saying, we need to focus on media ethics. Code and ethics is very important. Thank you, Dr. Masaga, for this time.
Okay. Hold on the fire there, Faith. I think she has raised, Miriam, she has raised very key points. This khaki envelope, the brown envelope, where media, which Madame Abigail raised also, they are paid. Here in Kenya, we call them brown envelope. It is paid to the journalists to come and a doctor story in Lupane, in Bindura, in Marondera. You see, I know all those places. Kariba Dam. He said, Kariba Dam is dry. There is no water. Water has gone back to Atlantic Ocean. Have you? These are some of the stories that people who are paid with brown envelope. So the type of journalists that we have in Zimbabwe are brown envelope journalists, which Faith has raised. They have never gone to school. But the Chinonos, if you look at Chinono, Chinono is not a journalist. Let him show you the certificate for journalism. Did the Zimbabwe courts ask for the certificate?
No.
Eh? No, honestly, Abigail, did you see a journalist? I want to show you my journalistic card. If Miriam will take over, I bring my journalistic card, international journalist, issued by International Journalists Association. Ask Mr. Chinono whether he has it.
He doesn't have.
He does not have.
Yes.
He does not have a card that can allow him even to interview a chicken. You know, smaller chicken on the farm in Marondera. But you allowed him to come there, pick equipment, and say, I am Al Jazeera correspondent. My food. Where is Al Jazeera? He doesn't even know where Al Jazeera. He only goes to wash hands, the legs. He goes to wash the legs of the Arabs across in Dubai. So we have a very terrible type of journalists, like a Chinono, who comes undercover. He's an agent of a foreign mercenary group, of George Soros. Does it occur to you Zimbabweans watching this program that Chinono, when they touched Chinono, the whole world started singing Chinono, 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 Chinono. Why? Why? You mean there are no journalists in Zimbabwe who die? Have you seen their names being sung? So you must also, if you are doing security, and I want to teach security officers, some of the younger men who are in the security agencies, if you know like that one, then you know that there is the father behind. There is a master. You touch him, the master comes loud on CNN. Didn't you see this whole CNN singing Chinono? Eh? Matsanga, I'm here. I did a greatest job in Africa of stopping one of the most dangerous wars in Africa. One of the most dangerous wars. And I want to tell you frankly, proudly, that the man you see here went and looked for people who had killed over 1 million people. And I told them, you have no way out. You have to sit on table. This man here talking to you.
Yes.
The war had defeated Museveni. 22 years. This is the Dr. Matsanga you hear about. With this mouth of mine and how ugly I am. There are those who say I'm ugly. Yes, I don't mind. God created me that way. I went and told these rebels, you sit on them. Museveni said, you will not manage. I said, it's okay. You stay where you are. Don't come. And don't shake my hand. He's listening to me. He's watching. His people are watching. Oh, he's listening. I refused to shake his hand. For 23 years, I never shook Museveni's hand. What can he do? He's a human being. I did not shake his hand. Ask anybody in Juba. I said, I'll not shake your hand until the rebels who had killed so many people come and agree to come to table first. Then I can now shake my hand and your hand. So when I secured that agreement, secured everything for Uganda, my agreement was for Uganda. I was not given a mandate, a reference to negotiate, to look for somebody in the Central African Republic. Mine was to look for peace in northern Uganda and Uganda. Terms of reference which I have boxes and boxes behind here in my room. Those were my terms of reference to bring peace and create Southern Sudan. Stabilize Southern Sudan. I'm one of those who stabilize Southern Sudan. The point I'm making here is the journalists spoiled. They were only looking at the rebels, but they did not look at the men who were also shooting with bullets. They took sides on tribal sentiments. The black people and the Bantu people. That was the war of Uganda. Bantu and the Luos. I'm a Bantu. I stood on the side of the Luos. Isn't that big enough for me? So journalism kills. Khaki envelope, brown envelopes have killed journalism in Africa. That's why you see your country, the people who come there, I paid the mercenaries. They started with Morgan Changarai. He paid the mercenary. Walshimani Kube, paid the mercenary. Tendai Biti, paid the mercenary. Have you seen them? The editor upstairs there and the section. Don't fear to do these things. Mr. Editor up there. We tell the truth. We have no regrets. These were paid mercenaries to go out and look for sanctions to kill your own people. Now today, they are saying, haven't you seen? Who called for sanctions? Isn't it MDC? Isn't it MDC? Movement for Democratic Change went and called for sanctions to come and kill their own people. They should not be on denial, in denial. They did it. Everybody saw. 15 years ago, you could not remove Morgan Changarai on a plane. He's in Paris, he's in Brussels, he's in Denmark, he's in Oslo, he's in London. How many times did we exchange blows in Matsanga and Changarai? Until the bodyguards in London, I said, you do nothing. They haven't told you how I brought Jamaicans for him in London. Say you play there in Zimbabwe, but in London here, I've got my Jamaicans. They will come for you. It is me who did it. Yes. And then that Kachamisa there play around there. Play with Munagago and insult Munagago every day. Not us in East Africa. We are not used to insults. You don't insult the president too much. Yes, you should give the president the values. He was elected. The Constitutional Court in Zimbabwe ruled that although elections were conducted and some few hiccups were there. The overall exercise did not mar, the mistakes did not mar the results of an election. Once the Supreme Court in Africa has ruled, who are you? Who are you, you people? And you are not telling that Kachamisa the truth. Oh, I am IT representative. We can give him a job in AU. I will help him. Because for me, I don't apply for a job anymore. My date of birth will betray me. If I go to apply for a job now, professor will laugh at me. I'm 64. Now, if I put in the date of birth, 64, there are so many of you here, look at you. Eh? Who don't even, they are 30s, 40s. Now, for me to compete with you on a job, I will be kidding. I go for consultants, for wisdom. You can consult me, but I can't apply for a job in Britain. I've even passed the age of retirement. Yes, this is the truth about me. The only problem that I lack is white hair, which is my good hormones. And what are they called? Hormones or genes? If you have good genes, the hair, white hair does not come, and you eat properly and you're soldier. You train yourself, you iron your clothes, you are not affected by some of these things. I've lived that rough life. Therefore, one thing is, you have done very well today to tell your story. The people of the world to help you, the people of Zimbabwe. Mutoni has told you, Faith has told you what is happening even in Kenya. Kenya reached a point in 2010. Professors told you, if you don't stand out to tell your story, get a platform of this state and tell your story. These guys will beat you. MDC is telling the story on this type of media. They have put their people after eating hamburger. They come here. Hamburger eating boys are ready, including a small man called Jonathan Moyo. A mature professor who should be teaching other people. He's busy teaching how to destabilize governments in Africa. And unfortunately, he's around here, eating some bananas here. And I don't know whether he has found Sata around here. You see, those are some of the difficulties that Africa has. A blessing when it is talking the African story, yes. A curse when you are not talking the African story. So far, I've not found any blessing foreign news agents. I worked for Sky News. I will bring you in, sir. I worked for Sky News, but I used to fight with Shamarira, Nathan Shamarira. When these guys, we give them permission to enter Zimbabwe, then they go and do hooded story like this. Then Shamarira said, but we have allowed you to come here. Why do you press a hooded cloth? Why don't you report without a hooded cloth? They all, you know, they get a Zimbabwean to tell a lie. So there's no foreign journalist who comes to Zimbabwe to tell the truth. That's why you find younger men like a Chinono. They have followed. They come, they pick dollars, they stay at home, then string stories. For the last 35 years, as I finish, I've been in this exile, but I have never written a story to bring sanctions to my people. I have never, and Professor is a champion of the church. I'm an Anglican with my Bible. I've been a Christian for 43 years. Reading the Bible 43 years, being a Christian 55 years. because I was confirmed at the age of 10. So this year I will make it towards Jerusalem. So, but I will never call for sanctions to come and take my country, Uganda, despite the bad things that I've got as a result of media. One story before I go, Miriam, and I allow our guests to come in. There is a journalist who wrote a very terrible story because we are talking about experience. I went to Austria, Vienna. In the hotel where I booked, I found Mrs. Abyarimana with the daughter. They were in a hotel in Vienna. And this journalist is still alive today in Africa. He was the head of the Uganda New Vision newspaper. I did not know that the Rwandese intelligence of Kagame were looking for this woman. I didn't know the woman also. So I went up, showered, came down to sit in the lobby. They took pictures, including my picture. That's how bad journalists are. They took my picture plus the picture, and I'm a Ugandan. These are Rwandese Hutu, whom Kagame's intelligence was looking for. So the journalists who took the pictures combined and said Matsanga and Mrs. Abyarimana had a meeting in Vienna. that is the suffering I got. Abigail, that is me. I suffered that way. It was a big headline. Google it in the New Vision of Uganda. You will find it, a big headline by William Pike. He's here now owning a newspaper, this one. That's the man. He owns this paper. You see the trouble he caused me? Bad journalism. He owns this paper in Kenya now. At that time, he was a very great friend of Yoweri Museveni. Very good buddies. The Muzungu who did Yoweri Museveni is the Luelo Triangle. You remember? That's the guy. A headline here with my picture exactly, and the Mrs. Abyarimana, the daughter. I'm telling you a personal experience. Do you know the damage I received worldwide? First, I received the damage of my wife, my beloved wife. And I want to thank my wife for being a woman, an African woman, and being a person who has gone to school is very good. Had it been a wife I collected from a calico, from a village, somewhere in one of those villages in Uganda, I would have had a very big problem. My wife looked at the pictures. The damage, because we are talking about the media, good and bad, the damage the media did to me, my wife, I had gone for business. My wife said, no, you went for. So this lady and this lady, how did it come on the newspaper? Explain to me, David. I said, Mom, I was seated in the lobby. I don't know these people. And I was speaking while I was on my knees. Because one of the cultures we have as Ugandans, even a man, you kneel, the things will be sorted out very nice. I was kneeling while pleading on the phone. Mama, please, I have no problem. Abigail, you better listen to this story. And I was put in terrible. Now I am suffering at my home. My home is broken down. My wife says, don't come back here. Go to Rwanda. The story in Kampala said Matanga paid $225 million to kill President Museveni. That was the story headline. Have you heard that? 25 million. Do I look like I have it? You are talking of bad media in Africa. And the man who wrote this story is here with me. I've forgiven him. Later on, he was also chased by Museveni. He was given, in fact, he was given 24 hours to leave Uganda. You hear me? He's here. You can ask him. Miriam is very good at asking those questions. William Pike, 24 hours to leave Uganda. He found me in Nairobi. I laughed at him. In fact, I looked specifically to go and I said, what is the problem? Those are the type of stories they write about Zimbabwe. A big story like that of Chinono, a big story like that of those two ladies. It makes British government, policymakers to come for your president. It's a fake story, but they use it in Britain to measure how bad Zimbabwe is. I'm giving you a personal example. Luckily enough, we sorted it out with my wife. She proved. To prove it, I told her, get on the plane and also come here. They are here. For me, I'm a practical, I'm a soldier. Kuja, come. Come and see them, they are here. I don't know them. Honestly, she came. I don't know the people. I have nothing to do with them. So we discovered later it's a Rwandese intelligence officers who were looking for Mrs. Abiyarimana, found her in a hotel, Park Lane. It's a park hotel opposite the Paris, opposite the palace of the King of Austria. It's one of the best hotels. I went there for business. I did not know them. So that is the type of media we have in Africa. Therefore, I'm not shocked when Abigail, Mose, Shamari up there, and Saxon talk about a bad media. You are right. A bad media does exist in Africa. It is a real curse. There is no blessing for the media on Zimbabwe. Who wants to go next? Yes.
Well, Daniel hasn't spoken yet, I think.
Oh, there is Daniel,
Karen,
and then there is Karanja. Our guest.
Okay, can I comment something then? Because I'm going for another meeting.
Okay.
And, yeah, Kaidri.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I want to, those are powerful words and statement, Dr. David. Now, I want to say something on the voiceless of citizens, actually, of the people of this world, especially the citizens all over the world, and especially in Zimbabwe and Kenya. They are being manipulated by media, especially the media owners. You have heard what the Daktari has said about her. I mean, her story was published, in the front page. Now, with the question we are asking today, the media owners who have interest or have a large population of the media content, they have become like the spokesperson people of this country, and they have gone to a point of now being the leaders, the opinion leaders of the key political events. So whatever is being aired, it is aired according to what they want. It's not what they want the Kenyans to hear. So, and that's the reason why, like Dr. David has suffered, he has already explained. So I think the media have been, skewed or rather taken a role of spokespeople for the voiceless, and yet they are very biased. Media has turned the world into a global village, as you have seen what Dr. Daktari has already talked about the social media. For example, now, even the bloggers, they have become, the experts of the media. They can tweet anything, they can post anything, yet they don't know the media laws. Now, here in Kenya, we have laws which actually regulate the hate of speech and other areas. But now, when you go to judiciary, we have those. Judiciary, when you take a certain, a lawbreaker to court, the same judiciary go and say, "Oh no, the whatever you have brought, the case you have brought before us, it is unconstitutional." So that case is now the person is released from the court. So now we have this issue of the law and judiciary, because the security agencies, yes, they are doing their work, but also I want also to say the security agencies, they don't have that power to go beyond, because even if they arrest someone today, for example, like here in Kenya, they have been arresting politicians for incitement. But when you take them to court, they'll be released. They'll go out there. What will happen? Because our courts are also compromised by some, when I call in quotes, those the big wigs. So and I want to finish by saying Zimbabwe might come up and come out strongly. Don't take your country back to where it was, many years ago. Remember, don't take the country where it was, especially in Kenya. No, I'm talking about the Kenya. Take it where it was when Mugabe was there. Don't take it to the dogs. So it's upon you to focus on your future. Try to regulate your media. You have the media, the Zimbabwe has laws, the media laws. Why don't you focus on those laws? Why don't you stand up? Don't wait the opinion leaders to come and control you people. Don't go and take those the brown envelopes. Those brown envelopes and the media owners will bring down your country. That's what I can say. So next time, maybe we can have a chat. For now, I have to excuse myself. I'm going for another meeting.
I think I leave Abigail ready to give a vote of thanks to our guest. Also, or Miriam can give a vote of. I think Miriam give a vote of thanks to Faith before she leaves.
All right, Faith. Thank you for having me on the show today. Thank you.
So much, Miriam. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, and before you let our guests from outside the country go, I just had a question there. I wanted to ask Mangaza. I don't know if he's still there before Daniel and Karen comes in.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So while you were talking during the introduction there, you brought up a few issues there. How individuals they are being paid by foreign agencies to fake their own abductions, and we've seen those stories play out in the media there from Zimbabwe. That even we saw the UN making statements in regards to that. But also, who was that mentioned the role? Abigail, South Africa right now is last Friday in one of our dailies here. You had the story of ANC steps up efforts to broker political settlement in Harare, and South Africa's ruling African National Congress has stepped up efforts to broker political settlement in Zimbabwe, but President Mnangagwa's government insists Zimbabwe is not facing any political or economic crisis there. So we've seen South Africa has been very vocal about issues that are internal there in Zimbabwe. What do you think is South Africa's interest there in Zimbabwe?
Right. Thank you so much, Miriam. Firstly, I would like to say Zimbabwe is a sovereign country, and the sovereignty is to be guarded jealously. By so doing, South Africa has no right whatsoever at the moment. Remember, in South Africa, they are still fighting remnants of apartheid. There is rampant racism in South Africa. They can talk of democracy. It is democracy per se, not but democracy in real terms. If a white farmer is killed on a farm, a lot of noise is made by the African Forum, and then they say that the blacks are annihilating us. But if a black farm worker is killed by a white farmer, they say it is a mistake. South Africa has failed to control that. I had a chance to work in South Africa for some time, and I experienced rampant racism there. which is a great curse on us as blacks when we are discriminated against worse off in Africa. South African leadership has failed to address that. There are many other mishaps which are in South Africa, which it has failed to address. People killing each other, xenophobia, failure to accept any other African, black as yourself, but any other white race can roam freely in South Africa. But if you're a black African in South Africa, you are taken as an enemy. Meaning to say, they have not taught their people to accept that a fellow African is a brother, is a sister, is a father, is a mother, is just the same. Is the difference is the language and the geographical position where you come from. So South Africa, to be honest, President Mnangagwa was correct in saying that there was no need at the moment for South Africa. There is no distress in Zimbabwe for us to need any intervention from South Africa, because the only party which is saying that we do need intervention is the MDCA, which is led by Nelson Chamisa. He is not part of Poland, which I said is the political actors dialogue. It is a platform for opposite political parties to dialogue with the head of the state. And they are always given an opportunity to meet the state and discuss national issues. But Chamisa decided that probably he's a sacred crow and needs to be consulted on his own. But unfortunately, no, he has got to join the rest so that at least whatever it is discussed is discussed for the benefit of Zimbabwe, not for one particular organization. So which means South Africa at the moment, we don't need this intervention. There is no crisis. I don't know which crisis they're talking about. People are moving about. Lockdown regulations are being relaxed for the benefit of the economy. And all sorts of things. So South Africa at the moment, to be honest, there is no need for any intervention in Zimbabwe.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Miriam,
yes.
Before you go further, there is Mr. Matamai.
Yes, and I wanted to come to him, Motion Matamai. I wanted to just ask him a question.
And Abigail can answer also your question.
Yes. I have a few questions for all of them here before we let them go. So, Motion Matamai, earlier on there, Abigail, mentioned this very murky issue of land reforms there that, Zimbabwe is carrying out. And it came out to say that, that was Mangazi who said that President Mnangagwa said the land reforms are irreversible, and we've seen it has been an issue lately there. Just the other day, the opposition leader, he's not the leader of opposition, but the opposition there in South Africa, led by Malema, came out and said that President Cyril Ramaphosa and President of Zimbabwe, Emmerson Mnangagwa, are sellouts. He also called them other names that I will not mention here because of the land reforms there. Why would Malema think that for some of these changes that President Mnangagwa has made, he's now considering a sellout? What do you think he meant by that? And is he right to even say that?
Julius Malema was absolutely wrong in his sentiments, if I would put it that way. The reason being that, the issue of compensation is not a President Mnangagwa issue. It was agreed in the Lancaster House constitution, the constitution which first led to a democratic Zimbabwe. It was agreed upon that, first of all, there was the willing seller, willing buyer. And then in the end, that would not succeed. And later on, it was agreed that no, we should compensate for developments because the land, they did not buy it. The land, they took it away from the indigenous people. So which means if they were in development, meaning say they used their own money to make any developments on the pieces of land which they had taken away from the indigenous people. So that is what they are going to be compensated for. Now Julius Malema is saying that they should not do that. President Mnangagwa is trying to be human. That is humanity. You cannot just chase somebody. We are not doing, he's not repeating what history did to us. Some say history repeats itself, but President Mnangagwa said that no, we do not want to do the bad which the whites did to us. We want to show that we are human. And So it is important for us to reinvest them on the developments they had done on the pieces of land which they were occupying before we took over the land, and which is quite good indeed. And then he's supposed to be given to be applauded for that. So which means Julius Malema to say that it is wrong, or President Cyril Ramaphosa, all he needed was to use that violent method of taking away the land, and then probably so that at least we're not trying to create enemies. We're trying to build bridges which had been broken before. So that is what President Mnangagwa is doing for the benefit of Zimbabwe, so that Zimbabwe becomes on the world map again for the good, not for the bad.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Motion.
I think, Miriam, that is a good point to loud. Thank you very much. We have been asked so many of those questions, Professor, myself, Miriam, and at the panel from Punchline. On several occasions, we have been asked about what is it that the land is coming back to the same people. I think today you have explained it to us properly. It's humane. It's part of conflict resolution management, which you, Professor, and I have taken. And if not all whites are coming back to pick the land, no, it's just equipment. For example, there was equipment, and your insurance says your equipment was there. We give you back what was your equipment, but not there. Very few. I think there are not even more than 100 of them. There are very few of them who are being given, compensated on those terms. It's not returning the entire land. But the media, again, the foreign media have turned it into chaos. That's why Malema is part of G40. Has anybody asked Malema why Kasukwere's trucks, over 50 trucks of Kasukwere, are in the possession of Malema? Who is running Kasukwere's trucks? Who? Has the Zimbabwe intelligence told the president that Malema's Kasukwere's trucks, which they are making, giving him money, which is using to invade Zimbabwe, are being run by Malema? Yes. Today, let your intelligence take it from me. Some of us do a lot of work for you. Those trucks that Kasukwere earns money and then uses the money to fight you, stop them from entering Zimbabwe. Let them work in South Africa or in the Indian Ocean or Atlantic Ocean. Oshamari, don't sleep on the job. It is the money generated from those trucks that gives Kasukwere lifeline to wear suits around Johannesburg. Why don't you just tie the top, man? Operate. You are a liberation organization, not jokers. Tie the top. You are allowing the man to create money from you and give it to Malema money. You get the point. And Malema insults you. He's eating from the trucks. He has taken over the trucks, the business, transacting it under different names. They think we don't know. We also love Mnangagwa. We shall tell him. Saxon and Abigail, and my friend you, my dear brother, you up there.
Yes, my brother.
If Isaac is not doing the job, let him listen to me. I'm older than Isaac. Yeah. I'm older. I was in the battlefield before him. Watch. I tell the truth. I know he's watching and one of you will give the clip. Tackle that problem. The money is coming from there. Then they use the same money. This stupid Malema here goes and talks about and sounds Mnangagwa every day. From the money you get extradition order, take him down. Bring them home. I've confronted the Kasukwere myself. Because you people there, Washamari, Mudara. I'm not Mudara. Abigail, I'm not Mudara. I'm a freedom fighter from Tabora na Chingwe, Ruvuma, Dodoma. You don't play with Emerson when I'm around. No. 22 years, I've never asked him for a penny. Never. Because I'm a general. Yes. So when you play with him, that Malema is stupid. Feel stupid. He can talk there, not here. He can talk. Let him bring a platform like this. We shall square him down. I know where he gets his money. Every guy knows where the money comes from for Malema to operate. Then at night, he operates with whites. During that time, he operates with blacks. He wants to export problems into Zimbabwe. And he's exporting it through the trucks coming, bringing you fuel, and you are clapping. Then they pay in the dollars, and the guy is sitting in Johannesburg, his legs up, eating money. They are trying to fund you, fund to overthrow you. Don't you see that? Don't you see it, you Zimbabweans? What's wrong with you? Tell Isaac that Matanga said, go and tell Isaac. Otherwise, I'll tell him myself. I'll call him. If he's hiding to tell the president this. Where? Usicheze.
All right.
Those trucks are causing problems. Let's bring Mr. Motamai.
Motion, please. The same question I asked Mangaza there. What is the interest you think South Africa has there in Zimbabwe, and why is it like the issue of the land reforms? When you see the way it's being it's being narrated especially in the international media, there is quite interesting, even drawing the attention of the U.S. president. They are saying that Zimbabwe is targeting white people, not even the white farmers. And so what do you think is the interest there, and whose interest do you think they're representing South Africa?
Thank you, Miriam. Good afternoon, everybody. I had a challenge in joining on, but I'm here. I hope I'm audible enough.
Yes.
Thank you. Right. Maybe to first and foremost, let me respond to Miriam's question. Then I will stray a bit into something that I needed to add on to the discussion. First and foremost, the South African interest is based on misinformation, which is also hinged on the media, the local media first, that portrays a bad picture of the country, and then ANC feels indebted and responsible for resolving Zimbabwean problems each time they are told that they arise. But essentially, what I can say is the difference between Zimbabwe and South Africa is that over 90% of Zimbabwean land is owned by Zimbabweans. Meanwhile, less than 10% of South African land is owned by black South Africans. And that marks the beginning of the challenge. Like what Saxon once highlighted, to say we have NGOs, and Dr. Matanga also alluded to it, that we have got NGOs that fund the judiciary, that fund the operations of the white apartheid funders of South Africa. We now have an issue where the case of Zimbabwe has become a case study for all African states who so desire to empower their own people by redistributing land. It is therefore incumbent upon South Africa, because she feels she's the big brother, meanwhile who is not controlled by black South Africans, but rather by Africans who are in it. So South Africa now feels responsible for resolving, by reversing rather, the situation in Zimbabwe. What we have now as a situation in Zimbabwe is that we have another sovereign state who has failed, or who is yet to own up the gains of the struggle of the apartheid of the South Africans, where they need to redistribute the land, ensure that South Africans are empowered, ensure that South Africans have got their land, but they are failing because of the complexity of who funds and who controls their institutions. That is the judiciary, that is the government, that is various other operations, including the opposition, where Dr. Matanga was referring to Malema here. And because of those failures, we have got a party that has been infiltrated by the white minority in South Africa, and they have been mandated to go and try to resolve what they think is a Zimbabwean crisis, when actually we have got a misconception being created by a media full of negativity. And then my brothers in South Africa feel like they have got a mandate to resolve a perception, a misconception, which is wrong. What I would want to simply say is that ANC is a good brother to ZANU-PF, indeed a good brother, just like Frelimo and many other revolutionary movements. But instead of them trying to read news, they have got a their president is a good friend of Emmerson Mnangagwa, the Zimbabwean president. They can correlate very well and just establish facts from there instead of reading news and then decide to act. But surprisingly, Miriam and all panelists, we are told of a crisis in Zimbabwe because of one or two journalists that have been arrested. But we have got a crisis in Mozambique right now, but South Africa does not even say that is in Mozambique. They are more concerned with a fallacy that has been created by media in Zimbabwe. We need guns to go and rescue Mozambique. South Africa are afraid of a direct war. By the way, we all realize that South Africa never went to war against the apartheid regime. It was just some student movement that really happened. There was no confrontation in terms of battlefields. So they cannot be talking about the Mozambican crisis right now. They want to be talking about the Zimbabwean crisis. Why? A friend of mine, I will tell you this story. A friend of mine once told me that if you're in South Africa and you beat up your wife, the South African police will come with sirens and guns, and they will fire warning shots before they arrest you for beating up your wife. If you call the same police to say they are armed robbers at my house, the South African crew will come. They do their own sirens at a distance until the armed robbers finish robbing you, and then they start to drive away. Then they chase them from the back because they don't want confrontation from firearms. This is the same reason why they want to confront the Zimbabwean so-called crisis, but they cannot confront a real crisis of terrorism that is encroaching the SADC region in Mozambique. They can't. Well, I think I have done justice to try and allude to the issue that you asked, Miriam. But I needed to add on something, as Dr. Matsanga had alluded to, and Professor Onyari had also tried to mention, that we need to also look at international level, journalism at international level, the crisis of journalism. I'm glad we may get a lot of stuff from it. What I want to say is, if you look at the statistics of arrested journalists, incarcerated journalists at global level, Zimbabwe does not even contribute a percentage of the number of journalists that are arrested, that are incarcerated globally. I will tell you in passing that China, Turkey, Egypt in Africa, for the record, are the highest in terms of the statistics from the, what do you call that one, the Council for Protection of Journalists, that global movement. They will tell you that we have got 250 or so incarcerated journalists. Of those 250 journalists incarcerated, we only have more than half of those ones being contributed by three countries that I mentioned: China, Turkey, and Egypt. But you know, America is also part of it. They always turn around with those statistics for their own benefit. But we know they're up there in terms of numbers. And Zimbabwe does not even contribute. So of the 250 journalists incarcerated, Zimbabwe only incarcerated a journalist, and not so real journalist in terms of Chingono. One person incarcerated, but we made headlines of incarceration of Chingono. But we have got 250 more who are incarcerated, and the world is not talking about him. Where are we going? We are only going that direction where we have got some people locally here in Zimbabwe with a greatest interest and a morbid propensity to destroy their own country by using the media. If at all our media as Zimbabwe is bad, or our country as Zimbabwe is bad and undemocratic as they try to portray, I may ask a question. How then do all those newsrooms, Al Jazeera's, SABCs, BBC, and what have you. How then do they manage to broadcast news from Zimbabwe if we are that undemocratic?
All right.
It means the Ministry of Information is working very well and is doing very well to ensure that our case is not hidden. We allow everyone to broadcast what they want, but we always pursue a direction where we need people to broadcast the reality of the country. But then some people who are accredited by our own Ministry of Information here in Zimbabwe decide to abuse the chance to broadcast news from Zimbabwe by broadcasting falsehood, by broadcasting what is not real, by broadcasting damaging information. I thank you, Miriam. I thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you so much. And Doctor, before you come in, I have a question for Abigail, even as we conclude there, and then perhaps Saxon can come in after that. We saw a decade ago, South Africa brokered a power-sharing deal between then President Robert Mugabe and opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai. The inclusive government is set up, presided over a short period of resuscitation of the economy there in Zimbabwe. Abigail, do you think perhaps that is what South Africa is trying to do, even as we look at the media and how perhaps it portrays some of these narratives there from Zimbabwe? Abigail.
Okay.
Did you get that?
Maybe for hello.
Can I repeat?
I didn't get the.
All right. So what I asked,
I didn't get you very clearly.
All right. Let me repeat that again. So a decade ago, South Africa brokered a power-sharing deal between the then President Robert Mugabe and opposition leader Morgan Tsvangirai. This is said to have the inclusive government sort of gave Zimbabwe an economic lifeline, but briefly there. So do you think perhaps this is what South Africa is perhaps trying to push for, another coalition government? And even as we look at how the media is pushing some of these narratives there from Zimbabwe.
Okay, thank you very much. I think there is a deliberate move by the hidden forces to get into power through backdoor. Our constitution is very clear on how power is transferred or shared in a country like Zimbabwe. If I take you back to the GNU that we saw during the Mugabe-Tsvangirai era, there were issue of figures involved, but a tight situation between a President Mugabe and then MDC President Tsvangirai. In this case, we have got a 2018 election where President Mnangagwa emerged as the winner. So constitutionally, there is no room for a GNU by virtue that the President Mnangagwa managed to garner enough votes to award him as the legit president. So any other move outside the constitution becomes null and void in terms of section 2 of the constitution, which says that our constitution is supreme. So no any other discussions, negotiations can accumulate to a power sharing deal outside the constitution. You also tempted me to speak a bit around the Malema and land reform issues. I wanted to clarify something to the world there. Records are that I personally, I have been in the opposition for the rest or most of my lifetime. Believe me, it was the opposition, it was ourselves who pushed for the issue of compensation of the white farmers. Then the human rights issue were at peak levels, where we were demanding that it is a violation of human rights, and in particular the white farmers, not to compensate them. So in 2018, when we came up with the new constitution, amendment number 28 to 2013, the new constitution.
All right. We seem to be having a problem there with Abigail's signal. If she can join us.
We have a problem.
We put it clearly
Go ahead.
It's in Section 295 of our Constitution that about the development of the articulated in Section 295. Constitution will not be the nation to vote yes for through a referendum. So it becomes a hypocrisy.
All right, Abigail, we seem to be having Abigail. Just a moment there. We seem to be having a serious problem with the reception there. I don't know if you'll be able to get you clearly, but perhaps as you fix that, we hear from the Saxon, and then you can come to the Kenyan side, and then perhaps we can conclude the show. Saxon is not there. And Father Alex, is it there?
Yeah, finish up.
Okay.
Okay.
Better.
Can I proceed?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that one is better. That line is better than the other one.
Thank you. I was saying it becomes hypocrisy at this point in time for the same opposition leaders who pushed for compensation in the name of rights in 2013 to make a U-turn and begin to say that President Mnangagwa is wrong when he is now implementing the very sections that we lobbied for as a collective. When you look at the issue of compensation of the white farmers and their developments, it's a clear implementation of the Constitution of Zimbabwe. What else can a pen of the country is implemented fully? Because it is in the constitutions where the aspirations of the people of Zimbabwe are engulfed. So I take it as hypocrisy when opposition leaders begin to mobilize against a section that we, all of us, rallied behind until we actually supported it in terms of our very own constitution in section 295. I thank you.
Thank you so much. Saxon, as you conclude.
Medium.
Yes.
I think we need to have resolutions. And Karen has been listening quietly. And Mr. Karanja has been listening quietly. Those are my listening ears. Karen, with the whole laughter all the way from the Indian Ocean back to the people of Zimbabwe, to the elder up there and the elder down here, and others and those who are watching. Pick us the few points that came out of this discussion.
Okay, based on what we've been talking about today, the intervention of media, both local and international, we have decided that we should say no to brown envelopes. We are going for white envelopes only, because with the white envelopes, it means we have given out genuine news that could be beneficial. Not only is it genuine, but beneficial to our countries, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and the whole of Africa. So we're not going to give fake news anymore. We are saying no, and we're condemning brown envelopes. And we are refusing to be bait, because the media in Africa has been used as a bait. And we are coming out to say that we are condemning being used as a bait. It's time that we know that we are standing on behalf of every African out there. When we give news, when we publish, when we write, when we document, it's on behalf of every African. So we are for giving real, true news that is beneficial. And talking of the sanctions that are put, we are for them being lifted, and we have Dr. Masanga mentioned here earlier that we've been crying that they're being lifted, and we agree that some of them are put in place because of what people read outside there, and I think we have seen that some of the people from the West do not have good intentions. That's why we need to be very awake as Africans. General, that is all I can say, Daktari and my fellow panelists.
Thank you. 3 points raised. We say no to brown envelopes that bring the corruption that Abigail and my brother there and others are saying. The local journalists, foreign journalists, private media rely on brown envelopes. You pay, he will write a different story. That's what she's saying. 2, sanctions, everybody agrees they should carry out. We are the people who take the stories to make sanctions come on us. Therefore, she has been listening from the background, and those are the 3 points. Another third point that she made is that we as Africans should tell the story of Africa, and that is a great point you have made. Thank you, Karen Joseph. Karanja, in Nanyuki, yes. Points that you have observed. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes.
Thank you very much, and thank you the rest of the panelists, and for the Zimbabweans who have joined us live on this Punchline broadcast this afternoon. First of all, I want to thank them for coming out. That is the first step of speaking out. When you come out, people get to know what is really going on. They are diminishing the myth that is being created out here, that Zimbabwe is a country that is not in peace. It is a country that is in crisis. But they are coming out, even in such television, to lay down the facts, to tell us what is happening, what is real, and what is very viable in that matter. And I want to hear something that the media should really, the journalists, they should focus on the media ethics and code of conduct. If they follow that line, we'll come void of these fake stories, cooked stories, and at times we call them the stage-managed kind of events, where people are paid to do something and to act in accordingly with, so that to praise and to make another party feel appreciated. Therefore, the media and the journalists who are in this field, who are real journalists, they should abide on the media ethics. They should give information that is real. They should give information that is factual, verifiable, credible, and something to do with the timeliness of the information. We should also focus, there is something called choice and preferences. These are where the choice and the preference of the information that you're giving out there, is it really what they should also focus on the audience. Therefore, when we focus on the bad news, let me call it the bad news, the choice of wording, the choice of how you phrase it, it may affect the country negatively, and that is not where we want to go as an African continent. People should really focus on giving good news and positive news that show and stories that show the goodness in Africa, the positiveness in our African context. That's what we should focus on. Number 2, we should also, something else that have been said, is that media is very powerful, and people react to what they are being informed. People react to information that they get. And if they get bad news, if they are fed with negative news for a period of time, they tend to react, they tend to believe that it's true. Therefore, those people who are coming out, the champions of the human rights and the voice to the voiceless, and one role of media is to be the voice to the voiceless, we should come and demystify this information. We should come out and be loud enough so that these fake things will not override what is real. They will not override what is good. Therefore, we should come out and speak, and we should be champions of what is right and what is very viable and what will make our African country look good. On the brown envelope, this is where people are paid. You get something small so that you can ruin someone's reputation. You get something so that you can ruin your country's reputation, so that you can be awarded or you can get work in a foreign country. That should not be the case. As Africans, we should focus on making our country great. Our forefathers who fought for independence, they were very determined to ensure a country that is well-governed, a country that is developed. But if we don't rise up now and condemn the fake news, the fake media, the social media that is being cooked up to bring a negative picture, then we're heading on the wrong direction. It's something that is happening, especially even in our Kenyan context, where we find politicians using bloggers who are not even educated, people who are half-baked, they give half-baked information. So at the end, this information, they get to the public, and the public tend to believe that this is what is happening, this is true. Therefore, we should come out as champions, we should champion. And the journalists should learn to follow the code of conduct. And for those who have not gone to school, they should go and get some training so that they'll be reliable people in near future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Karanja from Nanyuki. You have ably summarized most of the points that we touched on this panel. There is something that I wanted us to do before we leave, because today is the birthday, happy birthday to my good friend, His Excellency, President Emerson Mnangagwa. Isn't it so?
That's true.
Haven't I surprised Abigail? Abigail looks surprised. Abigail, you look surprised. Today is the birthday of His Excellency, President Emerson Mnangagwa, 15th of September. It's a great day for him. So all of us who have good voices, I like singing so much. We just want to sing a happy birthday. We shall be led by, if I tell Miriam, I don't know whether she will lead it. Miriam, can you lead the chorus? Or let's tell Nyanyuki, she's the youngest amongst us. Not Nyanyuki, Marindi, Karen. Lead us, you're a teacher by profession. Senior secondary teacher by profession. Lead us in this happy birthday to His Excellency President Emerson Mnangagwa, that we are with you in the spirit as you celebrate your happy birthday. And don't forget to look at the rare in Mozambique. There are people there who are targeting you. Please, let's see that happy birthday. Current leaders, as Miriam comes back to wind up, and we give our guests 1 minute each. Your parting shot, tough ones, 1 minute each. Parting shot, which will be captured, and we shall send you the tape as it is. Whatever performance you made will be reviewed on the tape that we shall send you. Yes, Karen.
Okay, being the youngest, I would like to take this opportunity to wish our president, His Excellency President Emerson Mnangagwa, if I said it correctly. So this is how we're going to sing. We will go like happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear
Edie. Dear Edie, happy birthday, dear Edie. Happy birthday to you. You see, I used to do that mchaka in Tanzania, mchaka. A soldier, you cram quickly, and just run. Mchaka. I'm a very good singer. I was a band leader. You have forgotten. Miriam, yes, let me start it. Okay. Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday,
dear Edie. Happy birthday to you.
Hooray!
You cannot ask the president how old he is. It is he's wrong to tell us later on. But Your Excellency, we take this
now.
opportunity on behalf of Pan-African Station, the only station in Africa that discusses openly the African issues. If any country in Africa has got anything to bring to us, diplomatic links, tomorrow we shall look at Somalia. How far, so near, yet too far for peace in Somalia. That is the topic for diplomatic links tomorrow. Several presidential candidates have come in. So here we are. I give 1 minute to the guests who arrived all the way from Harare, who are in that great land, the peaceful land, the well-organized land, well-disciplined people. My people, Marokoto. Is it Makorokoro? What is the word?
Makorokoto.
Aha! Abigail is not teaching me these things. Abigail.
What does that mean?
Makorokoro.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
Makorokoto, I'm so okay.
Aha! Those are the things I want to learn so that when we come with Miriam, sometime when Corona is over, we are coming to sit and do a good documentary where Miriam will speak right from Abigail's office in Harare. Yes, that's what we are looking to expand. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not looking to end here. The story has to be long, it has to be told. We want Abigail to come to Nairobi headquarters and speak about Kenya, about everything, about Africa, the best African story. That's what the legacy I want to leave on this continent. I don't want to die with half a legacy. I've finished the other thing for the legacy. Now this is the only one that I must finish. Yes. 1 minute each. Let me start with ladies. If you don't mind, I'm a Chuban trained, but I should have gone with it. Everybody.
It's okay.
Ladies first. Abigail. Closing remarks. 1 minute.
Thank you so much. I want to reflect to the topic and reiterate that a media that reports adversely about Zimbabwe, that mislead the world and the people of Zimbabwe about the real situation in Zimbabwe is but a case. And allow me also to touch on the issue of sanctions. Sanctions are a weapon of mass destruction, not destroying those on the list, but a weapon of mass destruction. They must go, and they must go unconditionally. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Boss, the turn is yours.
Thank you, Dr. Matsanga. Firstly, I would like to end by saying we have got to decolonize the mindset on the assumption that anything said by the foreign, private, and social media is legitimate. But we should know that they publish what they want the reader to know, not what the reader wants to know. By so doing, we should make sure that and know that Zimbabwe is a sovereign country, and the sovereignty which we have has to be guarded jealously. It is none other than ourselves as Zimbabweans. We have got to make sure that we correct the misconceptions which are taking place in the world and give the correct picture to the world so that the world really understands who is Zimbabwe, what Zimbabwe has done, what Zimbabwe is intending to do, and what it has achieved. So that it will be whatever is achieved is for the betterment of the people of Zimbabwe. Thank you.
Thank you very much, boss. You have seen the pin numbers of our Zoom.
Yes, sir.
Please cram them anytime from wherever you are. Don't wait for them. Come in. You pin in and say, I am talking. Any program. You are free. You are welcome.
Yeah, it's okay, sir.
You are welcome. When you have time, you are not busy. Pin in that number 399-535-83020. you'll be connected and you talk to us. We are here from morning up to 6 o'clock in the evening. So don't hesitate. Now,
thank you, Doctor.
Thank you very much, Saxon. Thank you, brother. Thank you very much. Next week, be alert. If you want to join our show on Somalia tomorrow, you are welcome. We shall be talking about Somalia and what next after the Bangor elections. They don't know whether they will hold the elections or not. It is a good topic. But thank you very much. God bless you. Saxon, you are the man of the day to take it to take it, Zimbabwe journalists, give them notes, private media and international media. Take it away, sir. Yeah, we are waiting.
Zimbabwean story. That was the agenda of the Westerners. They didn't know that they would want Zimbabwe. If we can't protect our own Zimbabwe, nobody else will do so much. In 2003, the media used by
using the audio.
Hello.
All right.
Yes, I mean, okay.
Now it's better now. Okay, now you can speak here.
The same media was used by the same media was used by the Westerners to destabilize Iraq. The same media was used by the Westerners to destabilize Libya. If you are not careful, Africa will be ruined. Zimbabwe will be ruined. Zimbabwe might be a case study to see how they can manipulate the media to cause regime change. We need to stand for the truth. The truth has to be told day in, day out. Africa and Zimbabwe need to regulate the media, especially social media. It has to be regulated. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Saxon, brother, comrade Saxon. Thank you. I talk to you later. Thank you very much, my brother, comrade in arms.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I like your voice. I like your voice and your way you have articulated the issues today.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
And the section.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Keep this guy. Don't let him go away. Yes, we need him for more analysis. Professor Onyali, on behalf of Pangela in Africa, do it for me, then hand it over to Madam General Commander-in-Chief up there.
Is motion still there, Doctor?
Thank you, Dr. Masanga, the comrades from Zimbabwe, the comrades from Kenya. Today was a great discussion for the continent of Africa. And we have seen the media set the agenda for people to consume. My plea to the media is, please report news which takes Africa forward, which takes the continent of Africa forward, which will bring development to Africa, which will bring peace to Africa. I always tell people when I preach, we sometimes say the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. I ask them to say, when will people say the God of Jared, the God of Dr. Masanga, of Karen, Abigail, Saxon, and Miriam? We are fond of talking the Pan-African leaders, the founding fathers of the continent of Africa. We talk of Mwalimu Nyerere, Julius Nyerere. We talk about Kenneth Kaunda, Nelson Mandela, Kwame Nkrumah, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Ben Bella, Eris Razi, Milton Obote. We are fond of talking about Pan-African leaders. When will it be Africa? When will the world talk about us today? Because Africa is under attack. There's the new colonialism coming to Africa. Bad things are being reported in Africa. Sanctions are in Zimbabwe. And the poor children and the women and the people of Zimbabwe are suffering. When will we be called that we rose in a point in time and we said no? The time has come. We have started a conversation. We have started a debate. We are keeping on talking. And long live Dr. Masanga and the Pangela in Africa, because the stone which starts rolling will continue gathering momentum. Let us keep on the momentum. Africa is looking upon us, and the people who changed their countries, people who changed their continent, were not the might. We are such a strong army because at this point in time, we are talking about Africa. So the media, the people in the social media, before you write anything about Africa, use the 60 cents and ask yourself, how does this thing take Africa forward? You will get money. You will not go with the money to the grave. It will end some point in time. But if you destroy Africa, of what use will it be when the human rights and the newspapers and the social media talk about sanctions against Zimbabwe, and the innocent children and the women are suffering? Of what benefit does it benefit you? The Bible says, what will it gain you if you have got the whole world and you lose your soul? Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. I don't know if Daniel is still there.
Thank you very much. Back to Miriam in the studio. Thank you very much, Karen, for that summary. Thank you very much, Saxon. I'll speak to you after this shortly. Thank you very much, Tatenda Baba, Tatenda.
Tatenda, doctor.
Tatenda. So thank you very much. Miriam, it's time for our lunch as we wait for our diaspora dispatches at 3 p.m. I will be available today. I would have eaten some food. I will have energy. If you want me to contribute, I'm available. Today I've taken a holiday to make points very clear. Thank you very much for us, and thank you for hosting us and for hosting the people. That today is a great day. That slowly, we have a saying in my country, that slowly is gumugumu we muganda. Gumugumu we muganda, meaning small makes it big. So Karen, there you are, gumugumu we muganda. It is hot. Thank you. Back to Miriam. Send us home.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, our panelists there.
We can't hear you.
Thank you so much, our panelists there from Zimbabwe, Motion Matamai, Abigail Mupambi.
Miriam, we can't hear you.
It's okay. I'm being heard here, so we just wrap it
You
up.
have sent us away.
All right. We seem to be.
Are you hearing you people?
You are not hearing her.
All right. I think, but I can hear you, so it's okay. You're not able to hear me.
You can hear me now.
All right.
We want to hear your good voice.
All right. All right. We thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching. Let's meet here later on at 3 p.m. for other news across the continent. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.